It's race day. Welcome, race fans, to a showcase of driving perfection. My name's Webbo, and let's get down trackside. Hold on tight, we're gonna go for it. Boom, that's how it's done. Whoa, easy. Surely not all the way around the outside. Oh yeah, we're cooking now. Shake and bake, baby. Shake and bake. This is a roller coaster of emotions. The drivers are pushing their machines to the limit and beyond. Woo, it doesn't get any better than that. We wait for the lights, the revs build and so does the excitement. And it's drop the clutch and go, go, go! Okay driver, it's hammer time. This driver is an artist and the racetrack is their canvas. Did you see that? Did you see that? Wow! Let's watch it again. Ooh, hopefully they'll get away with that one. What a great start, and it looks like we can build on this now and really make a good race of it. There's the fastest lap, folks. No mercy on the menu today. Yeah, sideways is rarely ever faster, but you do get style points. And we roll the safety car dice. Leave them alone, they know what they're doing. Oh no, someone's gone bowling into turn one, what a shocker! Moving left, jinking right, keep them guessing. Lawn mowing as a side gig. And we go down the inside, Danny Rick style. We're on the edge of our seats here, folks. The racers are pushing their limits, risking it all for that coveted first place position and the all-important win. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The two cars ahead are fighting with each other. It's slowing them down. And through we go! That driver is a complete and total. A word has not been invented to describe how complete and total they are. But they are one, and a complete and total one at that. And it all comes down to this, the final lap. If you smell what this driver is cooking. This seems like as good a time as any to ask if you've subscribed yet. There's your Grand Slam, pole, fastest lap, and the win! Welcome, race fans, to this new race here for the GTD series at the World Challenge, hosted at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. My name is Webbo, here to join you today for the race. This is how the championship currently looks, right-hand side of your screen, with a tremendous run so far in this season. This is now the penultimate round of season 4.1. Arcade leads, even with a drop score on 78 points. Following a really strong run of podiums and wins. Dollars per win is second on 59 points, with Bongit in 53, all in the potential promotion positions, as qualifying is just about to get underway. Drivers are heading out the pit lane, but let's keep our focus on this for now, as Jim, or JDA, is on 52 points. We have Thrasher out there on 42, joint with Dirksey for 5th place, with Aussie, or the Osmanian Devil, in 7th on 33, joint with Sully. Saito is 9th on 25 points after the drop score, remember, with 10th position held by Kuros Kai and Huge Jar on 20. Lalo Kills has 18, Anatole Maxwell has 10, and MrFisch, new to us here after the last round, is on 9 points. We have, for the combined championship prior to today's race meet, we have 181 points for Team Chameleon. They are a really good chunk, nearly 50 points to the good ahead of the Karate Tortoises, with Team Universal renamed and re-owned now by Team Warner Brothers in P3. Team Amazon are in 4th, with Team Pike Fitness in 5th, Cannonball 6th, and Team America very much at the back at this stage. We have a sunset race for you. At the moment, the sun is starting to set, at least for you, as we get towards now the start of qualifying here. And you can see then we have Bongit on track with a red and white checker gingham pattern here for us. Forgive me, just adjusting everything ready. He's also dialed everything all the way to the right hand side here. I thought for a moment, looking at Bongit, that he had thought we were at Dragon Trail for a Croatian round. That's the sporting kit colour scheme of the great nation of Croatia. But Bongit is actually rocking some Looney Tunes, Warner Brothers, and I think I saw Harley Quinn on this side of the car as well, for the DC-owned Warner Brothers section. So let's get ourselves some good views of what's going on, as the outlaps are just finishing up now, particularly for Astonishing for Team Pipe Fitness in that fantastic Supra, and we will get inside the car for a hot lap around the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. The timing beam we just passed into La Source, but the GT 24-hour layout actually starts right here on this grid line. There was some confusion during the GTD Pro race about when the green flag would be waved, because we didn't actually have ourselves a full-on safety car. But running in towards Eau Rouge and Radion, stealing a nice line through there, and then perhaps too much apex for Astonishing. We'll see if he picks up a penalty for that. I think if you stay on the curb rather than off the white line, you're okay, but if you stray further than the curb allows, it's all a matter of just experimentation. Astonishing goes down the gears into second gear into the Com chicane. Greetings everybody who's joining us. I'll say hello in a moment, but going into Malmedy, big heavy dose of understeer through Malmedy there, as Astonishing then goes into the Rivage corner. Very late apex, very ponderous experience running through there, as we then turn left into the Jackie X, or no name corner, depending on which year of the history of Spa, but I prefer to honour Jackie X. Now we're heading towards Pouhon, dropping down. Are we going to drop down to third gear? Some drivers were in the previous race, but not for Astonishing on the soft tyres. He's happy holding in fourth for lower revs and lower torque as you apply the power going on out of there. This is the Leifania Piff Paff chicane, avoiding those bollards, of course, otherwise you'll both pick up a penalty and end up slower. And then into the double right-hander of Stavolo. Leana is cheering at, sorry, I never remember correctly, but Lena, I think it was, saying let's go Astonishing, and Kirk Morris is cheering on. Jimmy Vick is here as well.
I think that might be Viciously Vic from ACC. Busy day for several of our drivers racing in the Nürburgring 8-hour yesterday. So perhaps having a rest day today is Vic. Down in towards the bus stop we go for the final part of this first flying lap on board with Astonishing. And he manages a 2-minute 19.442. Bongit next across the line. No one's going to miss that car today, and he's actually slower than Astonishing. Bongit usually qualifying very well indeed. Here comes Sully as he crosses the line. He will get third place, some distance away. Maxwell hopefully will be slightly higher than that from his perspective. He goes into third place. Dirksey next for Team Amazon has a half-second penalty. That won't work for him at all, as Aussie is going to cross the line. Is he here? He goes into third place. Then we follow Dadson Rex, the Dutch pairing, in P6, and they managed to stay in that place. I'm not sure whether it's dad or son in the car at the moment, as Siam goes third, debuting with us for the first time in certainly my tenure here in the GT World Challenge. That is Sully back on another race then, as Kuros Kai comes across the line. He goes 10th. Who else is left then? We've got Kuros Kai, not quite exactly where he wanted to be there, running through La Source, and that's not going to help with this particular run through the fast lap. Let's ride instead, shall we? Perhaps on a new driver with Siam on board, as Gareth Larry joins us and says, let's go fellas. He's not tired of racing cars, and I must say I've had a special request that there'll be no spoilers for the Grand Prix result or talking points today. I'm usually in the opposite seat. I'm usually commentating before having watched the Grand Prix, or while our audience are actually watching the Grand Prix, I'll be commentating. But today, let's just respect fans' choice to spend time with us instead of watch the Grand Prix first. So make sure that there's no spoilers in the chat. It's a special request, please, and I certainly will be honouring that. Here is Siam running through. As Larry says, my advice is to have a strategy and adjust it based on your feelings and emotions, and have an almighty collapse towards the end. So no spoilers for the GTD Pro race either, if some of our audience were watching or taking part in the GT Cup, is it called? No, GT Sport, at the same time as the GTD Pro. They may not want to know about your collapse, Larry. Oh, I've done it now. Making a little bit of a habit of this, Larry, after the previous Saturday and the previous race here. Let's hope these late race collapses are a thing of the past. This is Siam following Thrasher. I think the drivers are likely to be coming in having spent the best out of their soft tyres. The soft tyre and the tyre wear characteristics really only good for one flying lap, 3 laps total, including the out and in laps. Let's see if anyone is going through. Well, Siam does actually think there's enough grip left in the tyre, although he's not got great track position with Thrasher just ahead of him. Thrasher might be, yes, there he is, just releasing Siam so he doesn't cost him anything. And Siam goes in. I think they might be about to hit the start button and go back to pit road. There they are, indeed. MrFisch is still out there. If you're a MrFisch fan, do say hello. Because I know he has been encouraging lots of people to join us, so please do say hello, and I hope that you enjoy the race. If this is your first one with us, make sure you cheer him on, because he does watch it back obsessively, listening in for those moments where his great fan base are ready to come and support him and try and honour that as much as possible. Absolutely. So we will be continuing this qualifying session. Unfortunately though, MrFisch picking up a penalty while we're on board with him. He needs to change the sticker on his steering wheel. It's still got Daytona on it. Let's see if we can find a driver who is pushing for you. I imagine that Astonishing and Bongit are out on their out laps now. Just time really within the 10-minute qualifying session to get in 2 clean runs, if possible. This is Sully. It does look like he's pushing quite hard. Some drivers will have opted to just do a preparatory lap and try and bed those soft tyres in, but no, I'm afraid this lap isn't going anywhere either for Sully. So let's just try and have a look at some of these cars as they fly past us here. It looks like the Cannonball team in the Audis have gone for a very special very special Belgian flag scheme today. They're actually different, the two Audis, so we'll look into those with great care and attention when we get into the safety car period. I'm told that it's between lap 7 and lap 17. We expect to see the safety car today. That will be announced after qualifying. Sometimes even I get to hear about what that's going to be. But they've also picked up the Waffle House sponsorship, the Cannonball team. Not just on Izzy's car in the GTD Pro, but also here on Ozzy's car as they run down in towards the end of the lap, then into the bus stop. We shall see if Bongit or Astonishing will be gunning for another fast one. What can Ozzy do as he crosses the line ahead of the drivers on pole position? Ozzy goes third on his late into his run there. So let's join Bongit, shall we, on board and see. Well, I thought this was going to be a flying lap, but no, he's actually passed the line there too late. I think Astonishing has the time to go for another one. And I'm sure he will in fact try that. Astonishing leads from Bongit and Ozzy. Astonishing, I don't think, is going to be able to lose this particular run. Where is Siam at the moment? He's on an outlap, so he won't get to complete this. It's pretty much Astonishing's job here just to go even faster and just drop the hammer on everybody. Hi to Caitlin and to Rohan there, who join us here specifically for MrFisch and cheering him on. He's out. He's just pipped the pole position by 1,000th of a second as MrFisch. As we were watching with Astonishing, I thought everybody had finished their laps, and MrFisch pops in a lap that is 1,000th of a second faster than Astonishing. What timing for him to do that. That's fantastic work. Let's see if Astonishing can beat it though on this final lap on the run. Bongit is in third. We've got 3 drivers in the pits with Dirksey and Sully in 7th and 8th at the moment. I'm not sure who is out on track ahead of Astonishing, but I fancy it's his pole position to gain here. The track in its most grippy and best condition for setting a fast lap. The wind is quite strong, 3.4 meters to the northwest direction. Let's see, how is this lap feeling for Astonishing? What does the stopwatch says? It says nearly 3/10 faster, and that will be comfortable if he can stitch together the last section of this racetrack. It is just the left through Blanchimont, then down to the bus stop to go. A double left pretty much. That first one, nothing really to speak of. You have to widen the track to take Blanchimont flat out, and Astonishing does so. Down we go towards the very, very slow corner. Sometimes down to first gear for the drivers here in the bus stop. Looking pretty smooth. Needs to avoid some traction oversteer on the exit. He has done so. This should be pole position for Astonishing. It is by a quarter of a second. It did look like that MrFisch put in a great lap there, and especially that final sector, but Astonishing got it in the Supra for Team Pike Fitness at the death. So a 2-minute 19.188. MrFisch starts on the front row of the grid. It is a grid start, and we'll have a rolling restart for the safety car period. Bongit's in third with Dirksey in fourth. Ozzy is in fifth place with Siam, Jim and Sully behind them. Maxwell starts in ninth with Thrasher, Kuros Kai, Daddenson and Chaotica next up. Thanks everybody, and that was a fantastic run through qualifying, wasn't it? I really enjoyed that from everybody. And Gareth says astonishing lap from MrFisch, not from Astonishing, but I think we should credit Astonishing too. Let's have a look at the rain and the radar through the course of this race before the race gets going. We're into 60 minutes 30, and I'm not seeing any patterns of rainfall at all heading towards the circuit. Just want to make sure the exposure correction holds. It does indeed, because we are going into the dead of night. We were going from late afternoon through sunset into the nighttime period. Let me know your podium predictions for the race. Will we see a different podium from Astonishing, MrFisch and Bongit? Dirksey's certainly often there or thereabouts, and that Audi looks quick today, down in fifth position, driven by Ozzy at least. Jim's there as well, and also rocking that Belgian flag inspired livery. So we shall see what happens. Vic saying, watch out for Lecom, it got spicy in the sport race. Is that just lap one, Vic? or at different points. A reminder, all drivers must use the hard and medium tyres. They can use the soft if they want to. They may elect to get the hard tyres out of the way if the safety car lap is under, I would say, lap 10. Waiting to hear if anyone has the information here on the safety car lap. Let's see if that comes in the driver chat. I should probably check Discord, shouldn't I? Because that might give the clue away for me. As we get ready for the race, I think Discord's not going to fire up in time for me to check. So if anyone does have that information, I will love to see it. But yes, we are down to 0. It's time to go racing then for 60-minute race around the historic and beautiful Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Let's get our screen organised with all the information that we want. This is a live race, the penultimate round of season 4.1 here for the GTD series, as astonishingly it's MrFisch on the front row with Bongit ready to pounce. The 5 lights are on, the revs are building, and it's dropped the clutch and go, and the Supra away initially well. There's a checkered red rearmost driver who just completely spun into the barrier from the starting grid. I'll try and catch that for you in the replay buffer as we go for. Let's have a look what happened here. It's Dad and Son who spun, unfortunately, right into the early part of the lap, and they are struggling then around as astonishing leads. MrFisch, Siam managed to get up to 3rd position ahead of Bongit and Dirksey. And again, let's have a look at that overtake from Siam. This is Bongit running through. Siam with a double toe going down into Les Combes and completing the move right nicely into Les Combes and holding it into the 2nd apex. Gloriously done there from him, but Siam is then lost out to Bongit, and he's got Dirksey for attention in behind him. We've got 2 yellow cars, or at least a car with a yellow stripe behind Siam, as MrFisch in the Ford GT is chasing down the leader. Astonishing side by side go Aussie and Dirksey into the very difficult Pouhon corner. Aussie gets the nose ahead, and Dirksey's the one having to deal with life out there as Siam defends heavily into Les Fagnes chicane now, the Piff Paff chicane Les Fagnes. And Siam holding on, but up at the front, it's MrFisch following astonishing Bongit, waiting, playing the waiting game as they go through the Stavolo sequence. And MrFisch on the medium tyres needs to get that track position immediately, and in fact doesn't need a lot of slipstream here. I think he might have to dip back in, because the Supra is not a slow car in a straight line. The very low slung Ford GT topping out quite early on the straightaway here, or at least a flat out section. There's nothing straight about anything really that goes on in Spa-Francorchamps as they go down in towards the bus stop. Astonishing, too long on the braking line. MrFisch might have another opportunity here as they run down the short run then down towards the La Source hairpin at the start of the lap. We go 3 wide at the background, and it should be absolutely crazy then as Siam is defending from Aussie. Aussie gets ahead, Dirksey round the outside of Siam too. Siam will have to pay that penalty much later in the following lap. And wow, so much action at this early stage of the race as we cycle through. The Karate Tortoises are quite low down in the order as Chaotic is heading toward the pit lane to rest up and wait for his safety car lap, which Larry tells me is lap 15. It's really late in the race. So Astonishing versus MrFisch. Once again, MrFisch, reminder, on the medium tyres, had a good run through Eau Rouge and Radion and goes down into Les Combes. They'll go side by side. MrFisch didn't care about those bollards, has run straight over them, but still holds on to the inside then into Malmedy and completes the move. A job that took 5 corners and a long straight to actually finally pay off. Watch these bollards on the inside of Les Combes with MrFisch. Boom, boom. He takes them out. And thankfully they seem to be made of something fairly sturdy, or attached to the ground in a fairly sturdy way as MrFisch goes through into the lead of the race. Bongit also on the medium tyres. These drivers really wanting to make best use of these mediums while they possibly can, but the cars have to start on full tanks of fuel, and there's no way on earth you will get a full to empty run, even if you drive an Aston Martin on a single set of medium tyres. So just trying to have a little sprint session here. I'm not sure it's the ideal strategy, but I don't think that the hard tyres would have made 15 laps on their own anyway. So you can comment on that, guys, in chat if you will for me. What's your opinion? Would the hard tyres have made it through to the safety car? I would certainly probably estimate at least the fuel tank wouldn't make it that far. So we have got quite an open strategy situation here as Dirksy is chasing down Aussie. Dirksy has the mediums, Aussie has the hards. A lot of the speed differential you're seeing at this stage of the race is those tyre choices being made very clear on track as the drivers are either getting used to their hard tyres or starting to get frustrated, stuck behind a driver on worse tyres. Here comes Dirksy. Is he just faking to the outside? Aussie makes sure that he will stay on the outside line, but Dirksy has the better braking position here. Aussie can run his own racing line to the outside, but he doesn't pinch the corner on exit, and Dirksy completes the move before they even get towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Here is Aussie then. He'll try and catch the toe at the top of the hill without losing too much speed going through that Radion complex. Over the line they go. The Supra behind of Siam looking quick against Thrasher here as Aussie catching fast. Chaotica says safety first. I'm not going to read out Gareth's comment there because Gareth, of all people, should know that when you have family members watching, it's probably best not to completely stick the boot in. We've gone full Belgium for Jim's livery here, celebrating many things that are great and good about the fairly small nation of Belgium, including the Spa-Francorchamps circuit layout itself. So just running up the order then. Bongit is just 0.8 of a second away from MrFisch's lead in the Ford GT. Bongit driving the Aston Martin GT3 edition, and they really have gone to town with that livery and the checker plaid pattern of Bongit, or is it a gingham tablecloth? I'm not entirely sure how best to judge that one, but MrFisch. It's his lap 3, so sorry, that's Bongit with the fastest sector there. That's genuine. Going for those bright green accents on the car, just to distinguish the cars from one another. Astonishing P3, he started on pole, elected to run the hard tyres early on, and now we have Aussie versus Dirksy continues. And let's stay with this for a little while then to see if another manoeuvre comes. That Hyundai driven by Dirksy in the yellow audible livery has been a very, very good looking and very quick resulting car so far this season 4.1, as a personal best time goes in for Dirksy. That was that little sound you probably heard. I certainly heard in my ear. And Siam starting to get some pace, because early on he was very aggressive, but at the moment, the first couple of laps of this race, he has seemed a little bit second best, a little bit shell-shocked with the full tank of fuel, hard tyre characteristics of his Supra, but getting to terms with it. I think Siam more an ACC driver, I think, than a GT7, but Siam getting used to it pretty quickly and getting a double overtake, is he, in towards the Leigh complex once again, but Aussie holding on the outside. Siam has to leave the door open. What a sequence there as Dirksy gets pushed right out onto the grass. I'm not sure Siam would have seen him coming off in his blind side. Siam was focusing on the car ahead, but Dirksy certainly taking a little trip across the grass and rescuing that one pretty well. He tried to sneak up the inside. As I say, Siam was already turned at that point. I don't think that was a deliberate second hit from Siam. And Dirksy just having to deal with things on the outside there. As he gets past Siam, I think Siam's released him thanks to that contact. So deciding to do the work of the stewards himself, Siam. And Thrasher in 7th. I'm sure drivers starting to guest drive with us don't want to involve themselves in a championship situation. It's fairly hollow glory to do that, and to affect people's championship this late in the season. Perhaps that's how good everybody is. As Vic saying, Bongett is very tired after spending 5 hours in front of the screen watching his teammates drive at the Nürburgring. Did he, so he did a single hour, did he, of the 6 hours, or was it 8 hours? I forget now. I think it must have been a 6 hour race. Sully then, round the outside of Jim. That's, again, that's the Honda NSX GT3. And Maxwell in the Amazon with the pink colour scheme. Following up and catching here Thrasher. Maxwell on the mediums, Thrasher on the racing hard tyres. The sun will set throughout the course of this race, I hope, otherwise we're just going to be blinded by the overexposed camera that I selected for the race, as Kuros Kai is in 11th position. Dad and son are currently 12th, and Chaotica is our safety car driver, waiting patiently. He's going to have a really long hold if he's got to wait until lap 15. Chaotica saying Sion was too tired to put the correct number on his car. Stewards may have a word about that one. Hopefully, I imagine he's trying to fly under the radar today then, if that's the case. Look at the gap though, 4 seconds MrFisch to Bongett has opened fantastically, and Bongett just trying to shift our bollards there completely off their seating on the ground. Astonishing is showing very well here, 7 seconds away from the lead, but we're on the hard tyres. So what will be your strategy call here today? Do you think it will be 2 mediums to the safety car and then a set of hards at the end? If you started on the hards, can you make a set of mediums work after the safety car and just live with the safety car, period? Could be a 2-stop. We did see some 3 stops during the course of the GTD Pro race, and I think they may have been unscheduled 3-stop situation, unfortunately, for some drivers, as Dirksey is running here in that 5th place. So Dirksey on the medium tyres will be slightly disappointed to be 5th at the moment. There's plenty of racing left to go. We're only 11 minutes deep into this 1 hour race, and Siam then with a very very bright colour scheme here. What's wrong with his colour? He's got a red colour backed race number. I think most of the drivers are using the greens for the GTD series there. So Gareth saying there was a tech issue that cut our race short at the 5 hour mark. That hurts. Oh dear. Gareth, Larry just saying we were doing great up until then. Bongett was the anchor and didn't get to drive at all. Oh, that's tough. That's tough, especially if you've carved out the day and all the practice time. I think though later in the ACC series this current season you will probably see the Nürburgring feature for the drivers. MrFisch leads us after 6 laps around this great Spa circuit, and there are the stars and stripes for Team America. Kind of mixed fortunes for Team America at the moment, but they dearly need the points in the Constructors' Championship, as you saw at the start of this race. Bongett in 2nd and Astonishing in 3rd place. Astonishing picking up a purple 1st sector of the racetrack on this lap 6 on the hard tyres, faster than some of the medium drivers as the fuel is burning away, and perhaps going through the fuel a little bit faster than he had hoped. Less than a quarter of a tank remain on Astonishing's car. That is surprising. And then a good battle going on here between Dirksey 4th, Aussie 5th, Siam 6th, picking up yet another penalty, learning the GT7 track limits here at Spa, which may or may not be slightly different to the ACC track limits. That's what I said, Gareth, was that is Bongett's livery Croatian thing. No, it's a Warner Brothers thing. Yeah. So I don't know. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Love to be able to explain the livery, but sadly, drivers didn't really take Larry up on the offer of being the conduit for all livery chat and team news this time. So yeah, I'm not sure whether they're trying to look like a tablecloth or what, frankly, or they just found a new set of stickers and thought it'd be a good idea. to stick those on the car. We'll look at all the liveries in closer detail during the safety car period, but it will be pretty dark. So we'll have to rattle through the new ones as they go down the around the pit area. That's where the track is best lit. As we come in towards that area now, you can see some of those trackside lighting. As Aussie then in 5th, Siam in 6th, and Thrasher chasing down in 7th. Maxwell running in 8th, just ahead of Sully and Jim in P10. Expect Jim to feature heavily later on. He often does in the final stint of the race. Kiros Kai is 11th, and Daddenson, the Dutch Daddenson, also in the red and white today, in the Aston Martin at the back of the grid at the moment, and 43 seconds away from the lead. Safety car driver waiting patiently for his opportunity, and Dirksey continues to lead Aussie around as the gaps are starting to open out slightly here for Aussie. Let's have a look at Dirksey then on board. I tell you what, let's go slightly off board and look behind him at the action going on behind. No prizes for guessing the manufacturer of this particular car. They've made sure of that. And through Rivage corner we go. Gaps opening out quite considerably, and the daylight is starting to disappear. The clouds seem to have come over the race circuit to a greater extent than in the GTD Pro series. You see the odd streetlights that are dotted around here. It's not a well-lit track. Singapore City, this is not here in Spa. You have to, of course, have those headlights on the cars. You wouldn't be able to drive a Formula car at night around here. But yeah, the drivers just now really starting to think about making sure that they are set and ready for the first pit stops, I think. Let's have a look at MrFisch's tyre wear right now, and the fuel. Probably good for maybe one more lap of fuel. Certainly he's not coming in this lap. Bongit absolutely is. It's a very narrow pit lane here in Spa, so you do have to be incredibly careful, and then you get completely blinded by the pit lane lighting if you're anything like me. Astonishing and Bongit both pit, so does Dirksey. And let's see, is Aussie in? Yeah, Aussie's in as well. Everybody, whether they started on the hards or the mediums, are running out of fuel at the end of lap 7, and with 43 minutes left to go. That's quite aggressive fuel usage here for the drivers. That will mean, presumably, a 3-stopper. We will have 2 slow laps under the safety car. Oh, Kiros Kai almost into the wall on the way in there. Dad and son have at least managed to save a little bit of fuel, so we'll pick up some positions as a result of running through now. But Jim is Jim has gone past, so Jim has saved the fuel as well. So MrFisch with the rattling exhaust of the Ford GT comes through and is doing a fantastic job. As Gareth says, maybe it's an homage to his favourite Gingham dress. Yes, indeed, it could well be. I don't know if we've got any Red Dwarf fans in the audience, but yeah, I'm thinking of the episode Quarantine in particular. If that's something anyone is familiar with, I know exactly what I mean when you see that car. MrFisch is in first. He has a 25-second lead, but he'll be heading in towards the pit lane as well momentarily. And then we have Jim here in P2. Dad and son have got themselves all the way up to P3 as they will do a full-on driver swap, of course. If they're 3-stopping, they might swap now. They might do 2 stints each. If they're 2-stopping, which they're on the bubble of being able to do, there's a handful of cars that might get through to 20 minutes. 20-minute stints here, but several who definitely have not managed that yet. Now that's mostly that's the medium runners, but I think this could be a 3-stopper for several of our runners. We ended up with 24 laps in the GTD Pro. Will we see 23 here, or will it be an even 24? Time will tell. As MrFisch now pits, I'm assuming Jim is headed that way as well. Let's have a look at MrFisch's livery. Well, we've seen the Team America livery quite often. It hasn't really changed as Jim has a full-on correction coming through Blanchimont corner. That was a moment and a half for him. Presumably running low on the tyre wear. In towards pit road we go. The Audi celebrating Belgium in the most unsubtle way possible. And we'll get a really good look at it here as that tyre changer on the crew has managed to deform the tyre right into the tarmac. And there we have the Belgian flag. We have all sorts of Belgian paraphernalia, including the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. I don't think Waffle House have actually gone for it. And then we've gone full Stars and Stripes Evel Knievel on the driver uniform. So a little bit of a mismatch there for Jim. Dad and son are going to pit as well. And we'll try and get an idea. This is very Looney Tunes for the newly sponsored group. Actually, they've gone. There's a lot of Harley Quinn on here, but Harley Quinn famously wearing red and black, and in a Harlequin pattern, not a gingham dress pattern or tablecloth. Anyway, we are green flag racing still. We shouldn't dwell too much on the liveries at this stage, as Aussie will come through, and I think possibly undercut Astonishing and or Bongit on the way through. Well, they pick up the positions here. Astonishing has got ahead of MrFisch, and Bongit has done the same thing. So MrFisch going from first down to third, thanks in no small part to the fuel load going on. Bongit has not fully fueled, neither has Astonishing. And MrFisch in the pits, stationary for longer, thanks to putting a full tank of fuel on board, given the use of the hard tyres as well. So getting through to a 40-minute to go stage here is MrFisch. If you haven't said hello yet in the chat, live chat, and you're watching with us live, do so. We would love to hear from you. Tell us who you're supporting. I've collected so far two of our MrFisch fans. So you'll have to speak up if you are another one of those. Bongit leads us from Astonishing from MrFisch himself, who's trying to get on terms with these hard tyres. It's going to feel like a really different beast here. Full tank of fuel, minimal grip on those cold, hard tyres as he tries to get an idea about how the car is going to handle throughout the course of this stint. Team Amazon, let's go, says Zen. And that is Dirksy in the yellow Audible livery. And the other Hyundai as well, we'll find him in a moment. But Aussie in the Audi for, I want to say Team Cannonball, I think it's Team Cannonball, the Audi, is currently in that 4th position. And Dirks is chasing him down hard. That's Siam in the Supra in P6. And these drivers, just a few of them guest driving with us, either as a reserve or a newcomer towards the very end, final point there of the GTD series. Looks like it's going to be a fairly straightforward championship for the ultimate winner, but there'll be a lot of fighting over the minor placings here at the final circuit in the series, coming up in 2 weeks' time, right here, same time. Although for me it will be a different time, because we haven't changed our clocks for daylight saving yet. We will be doing so next Sunday, so we will catch up to everybody. Penalty for Siam, and he keeps doing this through Eau Rouge and Raidillon. He really hasn't figured out yet those track limits and the handling of the Supra. Thrash is in 7th, and that is a session best time for everybody for the first sector for Thrasher. This is fresh medium tyres, but a fairly heavy car as well with the fuel on board. Jim, after I did see Stella Artois beer, famous Belgian beer, there as well on the hood. And Maxwell is the other Hyundai, of course, in the pink and white striped Team Amazon car. Zen is cheering on, and Maxwell, Zen had already told me that. Thank you. It has changed fairly recently. Maxwell back with us as a full-time driver last race, if memory serves. Sully is in 10th for the Karate Tortoises, who are not doing very well at Spa, it has to be said. Gyros Kai out there in 11th. This is not one of his stellar races to this point. So some work to be done around the for the Honda NSX manufacturer, but this has not been the most happy of hunting grounds for the Karate Tortoises at all, and that's good for neutrals in the audience who want to see a close championship fight come the end of the season. And Dad and son are now with a new driver, I'm guessing, in the cockpit. Wow, nice manoeuvre into Leifania. Let's have a look at that again, shall we? Here he is. Well, Kuroskai was wide through Pouhon, so he was slow out of Pouhon. Had his commitment through Pouhon for Dad and son. Kuroskai was basically handing the position over, really, has to be said. Not ideal for him. Down in 12th, he's just not feeling the car today, I think. Some gremlins to go with his tortoises on board. Unfortunately, Chaotica continues to wait. It is only lap 11, and we're waiting for that lap 14, 15, I think it was, announced in the chat earlier on. Larry saying Maxwell will finish for Amazon, but won't full-time drive for next season at all in GTD. If we're still doing GTD, unless we've decided to go for Group 2 cars or something next season, I'm not sure. But this is the GT World Challenge, so I'm sure we're using some variety of GT car. Maybe historic, I'd like that. Let me put in a request. Astonishing in P1 or the GT500 series, either will do. I always like a good change up. Bonga in second is 2.6 seconds away from the lead of this race, and we're waiting for that safety car period to really open everything up later. Vic saying Dad had a great showing in the sport race, was holding second place for a while. I'm assuming you mean Dad and son rather than your dad, Vic. But presumably yes, Dad and son, and then son taking over in the GT Sport race. Gareth saying I'll historic my way out the door if they do. Well, you've still got ACC, Gareth. So you've still got that. But okay, fair enough. That won't get any support from the likes of you. Aussie in third then is just a small gap of 1.4 seconds away from Dirksey. This could still develop into a good battle between these two. Full on nighttime running here. Now the sun has virtually set as we head down towards the end of the lap. So it's lap 11 with just under 27 minutes to go. This could end up being a 23 or even 22 lap race, taking into account the 2 laps under the safety car. I'd love for someone in chat to who's good at math to help me out and figure out how many laps we'll end up at in the end. With those 2 slow laps, I don't know. Feels like it could be quite a bit shorter in distance than the GTD Pro, which settled at 24 racing laps in the end. MrFisch from the lead is back down in 5th place at the moment, not enjoying the hard tyre stint here, but will be happy to get rid of them. Possibly he'll have to wait till after the safety car. Zen saying still on pace for 24 laps. Okay. Interesting. Vic saying, my dad had a great showing too. He had 2 plates of baked pasta. The race will be 24 laps. All right. Okay. I will cede to those of you with much better knowledge. So lots of pasta being eaten today in, was it Sardinia or Sicily? I think it might have been Sicily that Vic is from. So I'm not sure if we have any more Italian races to come. But this battle at the moment, these drivers really having to work the wheel very, very hard here as MrFisch gets a little bit of action from the rear axle there, going through the Pouhon corner and heading towards Leifania. MrFisch struggling, I think, on the hard tyres. Certainly in comparison to his early race pace. And sadly has picked up a off-throttle penalty to pay shortly as well. So Siam almost certain to get past MrFisch here. There is Siam's headlights directly in our face on the Toyota Supra, and there he is, easy pass thanks to that penalty, and he can then try and have a go at Dirksey next up. Astonishing pits from the lead of the race with 30 laps. This is the final lap before this is the final valid pitting lap before the safety car comes out. So there won't be a lot of fuel able to go into the car for Astonishing, with 30 litres still in the car, but he elects to go in right now and run those slow laps under the safety car procedure. That will be his plan anyway. No one else really following him in, and happy to try and burn off some fuel and waste some fairly used tyres during the safety car period in order to make a stop work to get this car home clean. This could work out for Astonishing. It could end up being a bit of a disaster for him. We shall wait and see with how that all eventuates. The hazard lights, no, the left-hand indicator light is turn signal is showing on Siam's car. That can just be accidentally done. If you were using the right-hand one, you would probably be communicating to a driver behind or in front of you. You're headed into the pits, but this means he's kind of headed out in towards Brussels, I think, possibly Siam, if he keeps that turn signal on for too much longer. Here is MrFisch then, having paid that penalty. Lots of fuel and tyre usage left to go. He'll be looking for a late race charge here, I think. And Siam then, this is lap 13. Remember, the safety car due out as they finish lap 14, start lap 15. We'll wait to see if that works out to be a clean release for the safety car, or he picks up penalties. Who knows? Siam in 4th place, Dirksey in that 3rd place provisionally at the moment. But remember, Astonishing with fantastic pace is currently a bit out of cycle with the rest of the field. He has committed, I'm assuming he's committed to a 3-stopper. Going to be difficult there for Astonishing. Where is Astonishing at the moment? He's in 9th. Yeah, he's gone for soft tyres for the fastest lap here on this particular lap, I guess. But this is his out lap. So I guess he's going to have to use the softs as little as possible on this lap, and then blast the restart, and then go for a final pit stop. But I'm feeling a little confused by that, because the safety car is about to come out, so you won't get to complete your next flying lap. That's a question for the audience as Chaotica waits then for his opportunity. He'll be keeping an eye on the track map, hopefully, as the drivers finish out this lap 14. So Astonishing in for those soft tyres. I think he will get to finish the next lap. I think that's fair. So here comes Dirksey on with MrFisch charging past everybody on that sequence. That was something else. How did all that work out? Let's join MrFisch then, as he was behind them and heads into the next couple of corners. I think presumably this is a mistake from Dirksey, or is it? No, it's Ozzy making the mistake, and MrFisch just says thank you very much. I'll have both of those places, and that was an absolute gift for him. So very interesting sequence there for MrFisch, who goes straight up to 2nd position, but Bongert is 15 seconds in the lead of the race at the moment, and run out of fuel. As far as I'm aware, just got the safety car there on lap 15 announcement. So as far as I'm aware, Bongert shouldn't pit at the end of this lap. This is lap 14, the end of the lap. But he's going to have to. I don't think he can sip the fuel all the way around the safety car procedure. And he's struggling on the tyres as well, Bongert. So he'll be headed in momentarily. That car is very low on fuel. I don't know if that's a miscalculation or I'm reading drama into a situation where it doesn't belong. But in second is MrFisch. Dirksy's in third, and Aussie now in that fourth place, despite that error on the previous lap going in towards the Eau Rouge corner. Well, certainly by the time he got to Radion, he was way off the pace. It was a very, very slow exit of that sequence. 26 minutes to go. Presumably, we have a safety car driver out on the road, do we? Let's have a look. No, we don't. I think Chaotica may have missed his shot here, missed his cue. So Bongit will go round, and he'll have to slow down. But where is our safety car driver? He's just going now. Chaotica, perhaps just missing the cue slightly. I don't know if he was listening in on the stream, and that felt like a bit of a satellite stream delay situation. But maybe it's perfect. I think it's okay. It's okay. I'm being a bit hard on him here. So let's have a look at Bongit then, as we'll try and have a quick look at the livery. So very Harley Quinn here for him. We've seen this one plenty, and this one too, and I still like it. Here is the Belgium Waffle House version of the Audi R8. This is Aussie's take on a Belgian livery. Difficult for us to see everything that we have here. What does that say? Gran Turismo Sport Vlaanderen. Don't know what Vlaanderen refers to. Is that driver, perhaps? But there is Aussie. No sweat, no glory, he says. There we go. As I think we've got the gist of most of that livery. This feels like a out-of-the-box livery, but it is a chameleon livery. It's certainly got the chameleon sticker on it. Not quite sure what. It's just basically celebrating Toyota, I think, is the deal. Glovas, the creator of this one. Thank you for the Webbo.com sticker on there, and the "if it's not fun, why do it?" That's the hallmark of a Glovas livery on the back of the car. Plenty of sponsors on the car as well, which we always like to see. This is very much the kind of traditional Pike Racing colour scheme, the blue and silver in the Nismo version. Here, waiting to try and get a good side-lit portion of the track, but this is not a good place. This is the Ardennes Forest in Belgium, outside of Spa. But yeah, we had a look in the pit lane at this one, didn't we? So Team Cannonball and another Webbo sticker, so very grateful for that exposure. This was the Chameleon Supra. They're not supposed to be doing this anymore, Team Chameleon, robbing the liveries of other cars, but I think Astonishing just hasn't changed this from the previous race. So no special effort gone in for the Belgian round. Little close-up look at Maxwell's car here. There's a couple of Webbo stickers on the back, which is very nice indeed, and I do like this colour scheme. Definitely fits the brand nicely, and is creative at the same time. Nothing special or new that I can see on board the NSX here, and then we might get a better look at the sticker selection. The Warner Brothers team seemingly had a large number of Looney Tunes on the rear wing in GTD Pro, but here have at least stuck with tradition. Now, what was that just befell 10th and 11th places? Did Sully just spill himself off the circuit and was hoping perhaps that we hadn't noticed that? Does he run into the car in front? Yeah, he's got to hit the brakes. He smashes into Maxwell, damages the front of the car. Maxwell has front and rear. Oh dear me, that is awful for Maxwell. So he's now got front. Oh, it's temporary damage. Okay, that's okay for Maxwell, because that was pretty rough for him. Do we see anybody heading in towards pit road? No, not this lap. Well, yes we do. Bongit, MrFisch, Dirksy up there at the top of the order. So with 21 minutes to go, including the final safety car lap, the driver's taking this last opportunity to get a full tank of fuel and try and get home on a set of tyres. what are our drivers going to do here? Bongit has got 1 litre of fuel remaining in the car and is heading in for a pit stop for those hard tyres and fresh tank of fuel. See if they can get home here. MrFisch was second, back to 5th now as we wait for the tyres to come in. The auto jacks underneath the car, raising the car up. Then it'll go down and we'll wait for the fuel to go in. Here are some of the liveries that we haven't had a good look in full lighting. Lots and lots of time spent in the pits refueling here. I think everybody is heading in. This is why we can't have nice things, says Larry. I think that's virtually everybody in the pits. Is Chaotica on his own on the track? Yes, he is. Chaotica is providing safety for absolutely nobody in the race. MrFisch has the fastest lap at the moment. Bongit didn't manage it with those soft tyres. So failed experiment, would you say? MrFisch then, a 2-minute 19.809. Might be beaten, but the track is a bit colder at this stage. I think let's have a look then. Kuros Kai saying this is the GTD greeting, just getting rear-ended under the safety car. You can see this season's safety car is the Mercedes, the AMG, and a good-looking car. Larry saying, "Why are you here?" and Kai saying, "Router is the problem. Texting and driving." But yeah, it's been a difficult season. It's a difficult race so far. Let's have a quick look while we wait for the drivers to pick up. Let's have a quick reminder of the season. We have 1 race left to go. A strange place to finish a season, Catalonia, but Arcane has been winning and podiuming at the start of this season significantly, but this race missing at the moment, unfortunately. So he can't defend his position, but he'll be hoping this counts as his drop score, his worst score overall. At the moment, though, with a convincing lead. However, with dollars per win and Arcane not here, Bongit will be able to pick up plenty of points and make a good run for it at the tail end of our championship. I don't know if this period is going to be affecting the safety car, because he almost came to a stop. It's going to be affecting our lap count at the end of the race. But there's your reminder of the current state of affairs in terms of the championship. Back to the, well, I would say action, but safety car period. As MrFisch has found himself back in the lead of this race, thanks to his pit box positioning and lack of fuel he had to put in, the less fuel he had to pit. Now, remember, he heavier fueled on the previous stint, so that has really helped him with track position. He's now on medium tyres. He'll be hoping to make them last 17 and a half minutes of racing, give or take the remainder of this race. Once they go to green flag, with very little tyre deg affecting the cars under the safety car here, and they'll be running everybody in that 6th gear if they're smart. No comment, but certainly a high gear. Not everybody is running in a high gear, but if they've just brimmed the tank with fuel and they're slightly marginal, they'll be hoping to get away with a clear run here to the flag. Not everybody running in 6th gear. I remember that being pointed out in the live chat last race, that the GTD drivers need to think about their strategy. But it is going to be marginal for some of the car manufacturers, more than others. And waiting for the line, which is when they will go green flag racing. There is a flag being waved. I couldn't quite tell what colour it was, but at least MrFisch has decided that the green flag was waved at the finish line, not the start line here of the race. But green flag we go with 17 minutes left on the clock. Bongit is tucked up tight behind Dirksey as they run into Eau Rouge. Fantastic roller coaster circuit here with its gradient change and its drama and its history, and the smell of frites and barbecue at various points around the circuit, I'm sure, for these day to night races. Bongit peels to the inside then versus Dirksey. Remember, an open goal in the championship awaits Bongit today, and Oh dear, sim racing never fails to surprise me. I love this. I love this sport so much. Will it stay honest here? Way. Absolutely love it. Brilliant physics there from Bongit, who was probably suffering significant suspension and floor damage as a result of going airborne there. I had to hit the replay button there. As unfortunately taking us right out of the illusion. Brilliant stuff. We need to get some sound effects for that clip, don't we? Brilliant stuff. So there we go, way up into the air. But Bongit then, with an open goal in the championship, I was saying, really could do with the win today. But MrFisch is grasping this opportunity to take part in a season-long championship rather than a Sunday Cup with two hands, and hoping to try and impress his many audience who are joining us here today for the race. He is right up there as Astonishing. Also is now vying for third position with Dirksey. A lot of jostling for position, a lot of side-to-side action there, but Dirksey stays ahead on the way in. Boing it, says Zen, comment of the day. Yeah, brilliant. As Jay says, imagine that in VR. Yeah. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant stuff. Let's hope it doesn't happen to the drivers in the next race on this channel. Following this race entirely will be a VR exclusive race for the SVR start of the brand new GT3 racing series in SVR, the VR Sim Racing World Championship, as Thrasher comes through then in 5th place. Bongit really needing the win and the points ahead of his two main championship rivals ahead. Sorry about that. You said Boingit first. Bongit went Boingit. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, okay, so quote of the day goes to Larry so far. Astonishing side by side with Dirksey and into the lead. Let's see how that started, that move, as here is Astonishing on the run. Very common situation here, someone having a poorer run. The hazard light's still on for the Supra, and a nice clean and easy overtake then for the Supra as we go through. As Zen said, it's who says it's louder. Everyone knows that. So okay, you guys can fight over the positioning there of quote of the day. Astonishing, 3rd position now, and we're going to get the quick guys right at the head of this race to a finish, but they're going to have a real keen eye on their tyre and fuel wear. Dirksey may have played a blinder. He's gone for the hard tyres, so that's why he's losing positions at this stage, but he didn't back himself to make a set of mediums comfortably last the final stint of this race. The other drivers are gambling on it. Aussie has gone for the hards as well. Kiros Kai saying, I'm ashamed racers are still having caution lights on. Yeah, we saw some drivers on 2nd gear in the safety car period as well, didn't we? Less said about that, the better, I suppose. Siam in 7th, Sully in 8th. Siam is on hard tyres too, so we've got 3 drivers who could well feature later on. Jim is not necessarily yet doing Jim things. He's in 10th right now, and Maxwell in 11th. We have lost a driver from our race, and I think that that was Kuros Kai, unfortunately. And then we've got Bongit, unable to quite catch MrFisch at this point, but are they playing a safer game here? Are they keeping pace in hand and not abusing their tyres? MrFisch would rather build the gap and then defend the gap and manage the speed, whereas Bongit, I think, with the speed inherent in the driver and the car tonight, I think, well, yes, tonight, we're at a night race, is possibly thinking about the long game towards the end of the race and managing the fuel. Maybe he's even turned the engine down a click or two. I would hasten to suggest possibly, because Astonishing has just screamed past. Absolutely clean there for Astonishing running through. So yeah, that is huge for potentially this race finish. Who is gambling correctly? Who is reading their fuel mapping correctly as well? As Bongit clearly feels the need to allow MrFisch to get away and allow Astonishing through without much of a fight. Dirksey and Aussie not needing to care about their tyre wear at all. They will still need to be thinking about that fuel significantly, but Aussie almost runs into the back of Dirksey there with the on the way into the Jackie X corner. Zen saying we had restart problems in GTD Pro as well. Yeah, I was talking about that during the restart of this one. I think a lack of clarity about where the green flag was going to be waved. Would it be the finish line or the start line, which were not the same thing in these GT racing, in the endurance layout of the Spa-Francorchamps layout. And I wonder if there will be a steward inquiry over that restart, which could affect the actual winner's positioning at the end of the race. This is Dirksey then on the hard tyres, running fairly slow pace at this point, with Aussie just behind him, just managing their fuel wear as much as possible. Just going to stay with these two and see if even they are trying to lift and coast in towards the bus stop. There was almost an overlap there for a moment as they headed towards Blanchimont, but Aussie didn't fancy it. Yeah, a little bit of lift and coast happening, definitely off throttle before braking for Dirksey. So there we go. Dirksey, Aussie and Siam as the mystery of the Laycom trampoline launch continues in live chat. Dadson are in 9th position right now and having a better second half of the race, I think, than the first half this stage. Certainly enjoying running with these rivals around them. 9th position with Jim in 10th. We're underneath 10 minutes to go in this race. So I'm just going to need to leave a note for my for my next race, because this I am running late. There we go. So let's just try. Excuse me a moment. Sorry, but with this running fairly late. So yeah, I'm just going to have to just message everybody. So MrFisch leads us in P1. His gap now just 1.8 seconds. Now that Astonishing got away from Boingit tonight, he is up and much faster than MrFisch at this stage, who has already started to manage that gap. MrFisch with more fuel on board, but that Ford GT I expect to be a much thirstier machine than Astonishing Supra, who has just under half a tank of fuel with these 8 minutes left to go. Bongit running in 3rd place with the most fuel of the top 3, and has picked up the pace again here. He had a slow lap there, a 2-minute 25. His in lap before the safety car was a 2:28, but 2:25, 2:24, he was definitely saving the car there and preserving the tyres on their first couple of laps into this stint. But now it's starting to pick up the pace again. MrFisch still holds the fastest lap of the race, 2:19. I don't think that is on anybody's mind at this stage of the race, unless they pit in the dying stages. I think that they're not really thinking about that. They are just trying to make the flag right now. MrFisch, Astonishing, Bongit, the battle for the podium. Thrasher on his own in 4th at the moment. And there is Dirksey on the hard tyres. Decent amount of fuel on board, 7 minutes 20 to go. I think Dirksey could start to catch here. He's got a 13-second deficit to the lead, but a 3.6-second deficit from Thrasher's 4th position. Dirksey and Aussie now on the hard tyres, trying to do the job here and get on terms with the provisional podium. Siam is the same situation with a little bit less fuel. We've got Dadson there in 8th, still ahead of Rex. Someone I think has either just dropped out or pitted out of the sequence. So Jim having a look now on Dadson for a run. Jim coming through Laycom neat and tidy, and around the outside through Malmedy. That was brave, as Dadson is a little bit shy in on the exit of Malmedy. So the Evil Knievel giving the courage that Jim required to make that run, the Evel Knievel paint on the helmet. You can just about make out there. Let's just check that out. Can we actually see it? No, it's way too dark to see inside the car. Dadson in 9th place with Sully down in 10th at the moment. Maxwell in the pink and white Amazon is in P10, P11 now, excuse me. And everybody's still on the same set of tyres, so I think it was another dropout we had, unfortunately. So Curious Kai saying, if any tyre dies, they're going to become a bathtub on wheels. That track is colder normally, and it's night. So this is going to be a really interesting run to the flag here. We have Astonishing in 2nd, Bongit within sight here in 3rd place. But Astonishing now having a slow lap, 2:22 versus his 2:20.6. A second and a half slower for Astonishing. I think he's just checked out his fuel usage and started to do his race remaining time and lap count. 54:44 is on the clock as they cross the line this time out. So 2 more laps sounds reasonable. Running a 2:24, nearly 2.5 minute lap out there. Lots of sparks through Eau Rouge. I'd love to see it. If anyone takes any great race pictures, by the way, and would like it to be the thumbnail of the videos, do just send it my way. Make sure it's a good one and it tells something about the race except the actual result. I don't like putting spoilers in the thumbnail, but if you get yourself a good thumbnail, do send it my way. I'll be happy to put it on the official video of the race. Bongit in 3rd place. Then still trying to think about a pass on Astonishing. We've got some great close running again here for 5th, 6th, 7th positions. Dirksey catching Thrasher rather than Thrasher catching Bongit at this stage. Dirksey though has his gap to the leader has extended. It was 13, it's now 15. Yeah, if you can take a photo of that Bongit moment, that would be clickbait, wouldn't it? Well, not clickbait, because it genuinely happened. There we have Dirksey in that 5th place, and then followed by a close run of cars as we head down towards Le Fagna. Will MrFisch manage the fuel? Astonishing. Bongit likewise. Dirksey looks pretty good at this stage. Dirksey's in that 5th place. Following Thrasher. Thrasher on the mediums. Identical level of fuel on these 2 cars. 2:22 the last lap from Dirksey. Thrasher at 2:24. That kind of pace difference should mean it's an easy pass for Dirksey if it continues. If it wasn't just a one-off poor lap from Thrasher, I think he's taking care of those tyres. Worried about the fuel as well. It's coming through the bus stop they go. 3 minutes on the clock as they cross the line then to start lap 23, at least for these drivers anyway. So end of lap 24 it will be, we think. Although now I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking there is time for an extra lap here for these drivers. So I don't know if I'm doing these maths correctly or not. But surely 2 minutes 20 is about now to go. So anyone crossing the line around now will start their final lap. But I think the leader, MrFisch, has 2 more to go. And it will be a... How is he on 23? Oh dear, I'm just getting confused now. Here we go. Anyway, yes, 24 laps for at least the top half of the field, I would have thought. MrFisch being careful with the fuel. 5 seconds though, his gap, and Astonishing does keep picking up these penalties, as both Supras have so far today. Zen saying 24 just barely. Someone at the very back of the field may finish up at the end of lap 23. Indeed, good stuff. Thank you. Astonishing. I always need confirmation on this stuff. Astonishing, as I was saying, the Supras are really struggling with the track limits. I haven't quite caught which corner it is, but whether that's to do with positioning or the situation, the visibility into the likes of Eau Rouge and Raidillon, or maybe just them having to overdrive the cars. Curious Kai saying his tyres are done. Yeah, this astonishing tyres are absolutely gone. When you get too low on that front left, you just turn right and nothing happens for a good long point. There he is, just giving up the position, and can he hold on even to the podium here as Boingit today runs, and he feels like he's okay. I think MrFisch's tyres are in even better condition, so performing a bit of a miracle here, MrFisch, as they finish out lap 23, start lap 24. Coming through, let's just do a tyre check on everybody. Thrasher and Dirksey are absolutely fine, of course, so is Aussie, so is Siam, who went onto the hard tyres as well. Split strategy for the Supras today. Jim's on the mediums, should be okay. He's got to use that fuel up. As Sully, also on the mediums. I think it is just astonishing who's pitted before the final safety car, if I remember correctly, who has miscalculated, I think, today. Maxwell losing the rear axle on the way out of the bus stop for his final run through here. As we drop down the order, I think Dadson are going to cross the line. They already have crossed the line in enough time, so they are going to be just fine. Let's have a look at Astonishing then, as MrFisch comes through Malmedy corner. Astonishing has to try and turn right into a corner that always makes the cars understeer. That's in through Les Fagnes. No, sorry, Les Com. I pushed him too far on that one. Fish did a miracle, took one tyre and made it last. In fairness, Bonga, if he is the tyre whisperer, he did spend far more time off the circuit and cooling the tyres in the air than anybody else managed. I've never seen that happen before like that. Astonishing might not even have the fuel. Turning the engine down. Yeah, look, he's going to lose this podium. Surely now at this point. He's going to lose the podium, is Astonishing. It's got that side light on at the moment. Shining brightly. Hope that's not taking too much in the way of fuel out of the car to keep that alight. But 1.6 seconds now as he runs out super wide through Les Fagnes in towards Stavelot. This has to be candy from a baby for Thrasher. Goes for the wide line in to Stavelot. He's just going to be hung out to dry. Is Astonishing running through. I'm going to have to cut to the leader in a moment, but this is Thrasher and Dirksey going through. This is our leader then, MrFisch, who is going to close out this race on fumes of fuel, but perfectly calculated and managed this final stint of the race. MrFisch is your Spa winner in the penultimate round of season 4.1. Congratulations to him. Bongit is happy enough to flash the lights on the way through as well, and he did a great job on the fuel. As here comes Thrasher then to take third position on the podium, and fantastic work from him and Dirksey. Aussie in fifth, and Astonishing is having a fairly non-astonishing finish up there in sixth. See him in seventh. We've got Jim in eighth place, crossing the line again, completely on low fuel mode, I think, and then Sully in ninth. Maxwell, the last on the lead lap, or at least the final lap anyway. Maxwell finishes up, and he takes that 10th place. I apologise, folks. I'm going to have to run pretty quickly. Really grateful to everybody who takes the time to like the video and share and comment afterwards as well. Great race for our races here today at GTD for the penultimate race of the championship. Thank you so much for watching. We will catch you on the next race day.